have spent months trying to get back into my routine and back into the habits and rituals and systems that I had before, but I realized that that's not what I actually need in my life right now. I need to build new routines, new systems for the life I have right now, but also the life that I'm growing into and building. So I'm going to be sharing the new weekly reset and planning dashboard that I built with Claude because all of the other things just were not sticking. I could not get myself to follow through on anything consistently. So I built out this new dashboard to simplify and streamline everything that I'm doing. So if you've been around for a little bit, then you know that a few months ago, I moved into this new home because the previous home that I was in had a mold issue and I was sick for about a year and a half with mold poisoning. I didn't know that's what I had at the time. I found out like late last summer and I've just been on a healing journey. But that situation completely took me out of everything. And there was a lot of other personal factors that went into this as well, but I just fell completely off my routine. I stopped doing all of my systems, all of my habits, and I basically felt like I was starting from ground zero with everything. And it's been a bit of a struggle trying to get back into it. I'm still, of course, dealing with some residual health issues from the mold poisoning and just trying to navigate all of that and give myself a little bit of grace, not expecting myself to operate at 110% when I don't even feel like I'm at 80, 90% yet, is something that I've had to just battle with the type of person that I am. I always want to be, going a million miles an hour. And this has really forced me to slow down and take a step back and reevaluate how I'm performing, how I'm showing up. One of my biggest struggles lately has just been being organized so that I can accomplish all of the things that I want to accomplish. I have a 9-to-5 job. I have 2 businesses I'm building on top of that, plus wanting to have a fun and joyful and happy life and all of the things that come with that. So there are a lot of factors that I need to account for. And I hate the word balance, but you understand what I'm saying. Balancing everything. And I've just felt so chaotic and scattered because I have not had a system to manage all of the things that I'm doing. So previously I was completely in Notion. I was doing all of my planning, all of my task management in Notion. And I think just the experience that I had and falling off with my health and all of that, I kind of just fell out of that routine and it's been a struggle to get back into it. I also tried using a paper planner and just like writing my to-do list in a notebook every single day. But I also found that that wasn't really working for me because there were obviously working a 9-to-5, I'm having to fit all of the other things that I'm doing either before or after work. I try not to do too much after work. And I found myself moving stuff over and over and over again. And then it also felt really, really tedious and annoying when I have a lot of recurring tasks to write them over and over again. So the paper planner wasn't really working for me either. And I just knew that I had to do something to not just simplify and streamline what I was trying to accomplish, but to take this huge mental load off of myself to get things done and be more efficient. What I did was I took some of the things that I had in my Notion dashboard, some of the things that I was doing in my paper planner, and I mashed them together using Claude Cowork into a dashboard that is one centralized place where I can do all of my review and my planning for the upcoming week ahead. And it has a memory feature stored on my computer so that I can compare week to week and see how things are progressing. And like I said, just really, really simplifying what I was doing to make it easier on myself to stick to. So I'm going to pop it up on the screen and share what I built and why I built it. Now, I did scour the internet for templates that I could use, but I felt like, again, just like using somebody else's morning routine that you see on TikTok or whatever, I felt like I was trying to cram myself into doing something that just wasn't quite fitting for me and my life. So building something from scratch, knowing exactly what I want, and being able to tweak it as I go has been really, really important. Okay, so this is my weekly review and planning dashboard. As you can see, it tells me what the week is ending in. And when I save this, it's saved to my local folder that I have connected to Claude so that I can reference it across my different chats. I can look back at it, I can pull it up, whatever the case may be. So the first part of this is going to be my last week for reference. So everything that I filled out for last week is going to be here so that I can see exactly what I did, what I said, I like being able to look back at what I planned out because you'll see that the first section of this process is to reflect. So I'm able to look back at what did I plan for last Sunday and what did I actually accomplish or not accomplish throughout the week. I think it's really important to reflect, not just to say, oh, I didn't do this, or oh, I have to push this task, to reflect on why things didn't happen or why they did happen. So oftentimes you'll start to notice patterns that evolve over time. So if there is, for example, a task that you keep putting off over and over and over again, maybe you keep moving it from one week to the next, take a look at that task and see what is causing you to continually put it off. Maybe it's actually too big of a task for you to accomplish in one setting, and that should signal to you, okay, I need to break this down into even smaller chunks. Or maybe it's something that you've just built up in your head to be this big thing that's going to take a lot of time. But I promise you, this has happened to me so many times. I've had tasks where I put off for months, okay, months, I'm not even kidding. And when I finally sat down to do it, it took me less than 5 minutes. There's also times where you start to notice a pattern that maybe where you're trying to do a certain task is not really aligned with what your life is like. So let's say, for example, that you keep trying to put your workout after work and you continually have to skip it because you have to work late or something comes up with the kids, and it just seems like week after week you're continually skipping your workout. Maybe you need to reconsider when you're working out during your day. So do you need to move it to the morning? Can you do something at lunch? Or maybe rethink what type of workout you're doing. So instead of trying to go to the gym, maybe you can grab a couple pairs of dumbbells and resistance bands and work out at home so that you don't have to worry about the commute and the additional time that it takes to go to a gym versus just getting in a 20-30 minute workout at home. Another thing that I like to think about in this review is my energy patterns. So where did I seem to be really high energy throughout my days or throughout the week? And where was I really low energy? And how can I align what I'm working on and what I need to accomplish with those times? For example, my energy tends to be the highest in the mornings. I'm most creative. I have the most clarity. And then I tend to be a little bit more drained in the evenings because I worked my 9 to 5 all day. So my brain is like kaput and I do not want to do, high creative, brain demanding types of activities. So I try to front load anything that requires creativity and thinking and all of that in the mornings. And then I can save my more mundane admin style type of tasks for later in the evening. But if you're not doing this reflection part and you're just kind of being like, oh, okay, I didn't do this, I did do this, check, 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 move this to the next day, let's move on. You're not going to be able to recognize those patterns, and you're not going to recognize when certain obstacles continually come up that you can actually plan ahead for so that you're not constantly running into them anymore. I think a couple of other key things here that you can start to notice from your reflection is, are there things that you absolutely hate doing? And how can you get them off your plate? If you constantly are just dreading a certain task or feeling really drained by it, can you either get rid of that task, eliminate it completely, or can you delegate it? Can you hire somebody to help you with that? Or if it's like a household thing, can you get your spouse or your kids or someone else to help chip in to lighten that load for you? And then another thing is protecting your energy. Like I mentioned, our energy is so important. It is our most valuable resource, more so than time, I think, because you could have the time, but if you have no energy, then it's going to be really hard for you to get things done. So where are you kind of overextending yourself? Are you continually committing yourself to, events, get-togethers, hanging out with people that are not serving you, that are draining you, that are just not aligning with what you want to do with your life? And how can you start to pull yourself back from those so that you have the energy to put towards other things that are exciting for you and that you want to do? And then finally, I like to rate my week a 1 out of 10 so that I can just kind of have some type of number to go off of. And then this is also helpful to just do a quick look back, like, oh, this week was a 4. Why was it a 4? I can look back at everything that happened or that was going on. All right, section number 2 is to close out the week. These are going to be specific tasks that I do every single week to help make sure that I'm kind of wrapping things up on Sunday and then I'm moving forward fresh into the new week. Making sure I go through my to-do list, my tasks, closing them out or moving them, like I said, if they need to be moved, checking in on certain numbers that I have, metrics that I have for my business and my content that I want to make sure that I'm looking at. I'm going to be honest, this clearing your inbox to 0, I should probably just remove that because there's no way I'm ever going to be an inbox 0 girly. Like, I'm going to show you right now. On just my phone, which I have several inboxes on my phone, not even all of the ones that I have, mind you, I have like 60,000 emails. There's no way I'm going through those and getting to inbox 0. It makes me want to throw up just thinking about it. So I'm okay with that. I do have a goal to start unsubscribing from things instead of just deleting the emails all the time. I'm going to start unsubscribing, but inbox 0 is probably not in my future. All right, and then I have a couple of other things here like updating my project statuses, organizing files and documents. I just had to go through a super painful process of cleaning up my computer because I ran out of storage, and then because I was out of storage, I couldn't get anything to run. Like, I couldn't even move things to my hard drive because it was so over capacity. So something that I want to maintain on a regular basis is going through, cleaning out stuff that I don't need, deleting it, organizing it, making sure that things are in the right folder so that it's not just a big mess. I'm also going to be doing this process for my camera rolls. So right now it's just a big hot mess. I have nothing organized. I have a flight coming up this week, so I'm going to be taking a few of those hours while I'm flying to organize my camera roll better. And that will help me with my content creation and help that process be a lot smoother. So I'm excited to have that done. And one thing that I do want to call out here is doing a brain dump session. This has been so helpful for me. And I also caution you to have 1, maybe 2 places max. So maybe you have a physical place and then you also have a digital place, but everything should ultimately wind up in your digital space so that it's easier to manage. Brain dumping everything that is on your mind is going to help so much, especially if you are an anxious girly like me. If you constantly have thoughts, ideas, and things running through your head, getting them all out onto paper is going to help your brain relax a little bit because it's going to say, oh, we have that logged, it's taken care of. I don't have to constantly ruminate on it so that I don't forget it. I have a notebook I keep on my nightstand for brain dumps at night before I go to bed. If things are popping up, ideas, thoughts, worries, stresses, whatever it is, I just write it all out. And then I also have a document in my Claude code that I maintain organized by area. And what I'll do is anytime I have a thought, idea, whatever it is, I just dump it into Claude. And then I take everything from my notebook. If it's something that I can take action on, or if it's a reminder or something like that, I put it in there. That way everything is in one centralized location and I can look through that every single week. Now, once we've reviewed and we've done our closeout, we are ready to start looking at the week ahead. And I'm actually, now that I'm looking at this on this video, I'm probably going to change some of the wording here, but the first thing that I always do is I look at my calendar for the week ahead and I look at what are my meetings, what are the events that I have, any commitments, because I want to make sure that I know what those are and they're on my calendar, and then I can kind of plan around that. I look through my task list if I had to move anything over, and then I also think about what are my goals for this month and then what needs to be the priority for this week in order to move me closer to that goal. I have another separate monthly planning session that I do, and everything will roll up to that, which rolls up to quarterly, which rolls up to the yearly goals. So here I put in all of my tasks that I have for the upcoming week, and then I put in my top 3 priorities. Now, the way I look at priorities are, these are the 3 things that absolutely must get done to move my goals forward, whether that's in business or my personal life, whatever it is. These 3 things absolutely have to get done. And if nothing else happens this week, it's still going to be considered a success. Now, once I know what all my tasks are, I can start to go through my calendar and I can also set aside sections of time. Now, for me, time blocking is not as imperative and I don't worry about it as much because I do have my 9 to 5. Everything I do for my business and my personal life obviously is going to be my 5 to 9s in the mornings and post work, and then also on the weekends. So I try to think about what are the tasks that I have and what day is going to be best for me to do that. So for example, I tend to do my filming on Fridays or Wednesday mornings because I don't have any meetings Wednesday morning. I can knock that out before work. And then on Fridays, my workload is a little bit lighter. I can probably film a video during my lunch break, for example. And then I also try to group like items together. For example, on Fridays, I do my Finance Friday, which I'm going to be reviving that and also doing some different things in my upcoming series. So be on the lookout for that next week. And then I'll also do other admin tasks that day since I'm already kind of in that mode. When I'm filming my YouTube videos, I will also film any like content for my reels. And then I also tend to put my tasks wherever it makes the most sense based on the day. So for example, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have meetings for Heirloom. So I will do Heirloom focused work on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I'm already in that mode, in that mindset, because I have meetings with my teams those days. And then, so that means like Monday morning, I'm usually focused on my personal content. So working on my Substack, getting things ready for the week for my Instagram, so on and so forth. And then I also added in this little note for future you starting on Monday. So when I open my laptop on Monday morning and I'm looking at my plan for the week, I have a nice little like affirmation or quote or something inspiring to just kick off the day, because we all know Mondays can just kind of not be fun, especially when you're in the corporate world. And next I plan out my workouts for the week. Now I do have like an app where I track my workouts. They're already ready to go, but I also like to put them in here so that it's easy for me to see everything at a glance. So for example, Monday would be upper body, Tuesday is usually like conditioning and sprints and core, Wednesday lower body, Thursday is my long run and mobility, so on and so forth. So I can just see everything at a glance and I know what I'm doing and when, and I can just be mentally prepared for it days ahead of time. It also helps me to figure out when I'm going to work out. A lot of times I end up working out right after work, but I also really like when I can work out over my lunch break because I prefer working out earlier in the day. I feel more energized. I feel better about it. I don't like to work out first thing in the morning because I definitely need some food in me before I work out. But if I can get in a lunch workout, I love doing that. Being able to see my workouts at a quick glance and I can compare it to my calendar and see, do I have any meetings? Can I squeeze in a workout or do I have to wait until later in the day? And then the final part of my Sunday prep plan review is to meal plan. I have been doing the 3-2-1 method. I heard this on, I think it was Michaela from Break Your Budget. I heard her talking about it on a podcast. Basically, you pick 3 dinners, 2 lunches, and 1 breakfast through the week. And it has been saving my life because figuring out what to make every week is such an annoying process. I love to eat. I love eating well. I love enjoying my food, but it's honestly such like a decision fatigue thing. I don't even want to think about it. So having more of a structure and a system to follow with my meal planning has made it so much easier. This just makes it so much easier to prep things ahead of time, whether I'm prepping the entire meal or I'm doing a bulk ingredient prep. It also helps me see what are some things that I can, like I mentioned, bulk prep for multiple meals. So for example, if I'm going to do baby potatoes with eggs for breakfast, and I'm also going to do steak and potatoes, I can make a huge batch of potatoes and have enough to do for dinner and for breakfast for a few days. Then once I plan this out, I make my grocery list. I honestly will just take my plan, plug it into Claude and say, give me a grocery list for all of these recipes. It gives me the grocery list, I order it, and then we're good to go. Once I fill all of this out, I save it and it gets saved to my computer, and then it also will pop up here next week. All of my answers will be here at the top, so then I can use that for the following week. Now, this week is going to be a little bit unique for me because I'm traveling Monday through Thursday to Washington State. I'm going to be filming for a brand campaign for a few days. I am so excited. It's going to be so much fun, but it's going to be 2 long days of filming. I'm going to have to see what I can get done before filming. Probably won't get much done after because our schedule is until pretty late at night and then we'll go to get dinner and whatever, and then I got to make sure I get enough beauty sleep to be on camera the next day. So I'll have to see what kind of work I can schedule in the mornings, but I know at least I will have multiple hours on my flight there and on my flight home to get some work done. So that's going to be the plan for now. That is everything that I do for my weekly planning and review. If you're interested in getting the Claude prompt to create your own dashboard, please let me know. I'd be happy to share that with you guys. And if you know anyone that would find this video helpful, please share it with them. I really appreciate it. It helps me grow the channel. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you next week. Bye.